one more cup of coffee before I go to the valley below. This morning I'm going to read from my website, mac808.com. It has a very cool poster or picture, my website picture that I made 10 or 12 years ago of people. I just started putting together a website, pictures of people that I found to be inspirational in my life at that time. Certainly has changed, but I haven't changed it. I only added Hunani K. Trask after she passed away. My step-granddaughters are riding a turtle. That picture was taken at the Oregon Coast Museum. My ex-wife is up in the right corner, right above Bob Dylan. My Taoist teacher, Qigong teacher, Dr. Lily Su, passed away a few years ago. She's wearing a black Taoist cap next to Lao Tzu. The Beatles, Barack Obama, Duke, several representatives of Hawaii, including my Tai Chi Kung Fu teacher, Gregory Fong, who passed away a few years ago. My yoga teacher, Bharat Das, sitting in a yoga prayer posture. And Makua Hale, Makua, who I read about him in a book called A Bowl of Light. It's a great read. That was like 10, 12 years ago. Anyway, it was a good story. He passed away horribly in a car accident, unfortunately. Is here. So anyway, I'm going to read from this, but please take a look at it, mac808.com. Aloha and welcome everyone. They came like lambs, speaking softly. Today all the islands are theirs. All the land, all the cattle, everything is theirs. They who had nothing now have everything. That was a short story written by Jack London in 1915 from his book, Stories of Hawaii, spoken to Jack London by a local native Hawaiian. Okay, if I were governor, my first action would be to declare Iolani Palace and grounds to be the Kingdom of Hawaii. It would not be legal, but it could be established under the concept of pretender. The pretender king or queen would create a pretender constitution and work closely with the state of Hawaii. They would not be ignored. They would be included. Just like the neighborhood boards, we don't have a lot of legal authority, but we listen to people and we present what we give the reports from our meetings to the state, to the city council, to the state senate, and all the legislative branches. This website is dedicated to King Kamehameha for his bravery, foresight, and determination in unifying the Hawaiian Islands. To Queen Aliliukulani for her kind-heartedness, wisdom, and intelligence, and her life-altering efforts to restore the islands to their rightful people. And to Hunani K. Trask for her beautiful spirit and commitment to her ancestors in fighting for the rights of Native Hawaiian people. I am Clyde McLean Mac Lumen. And this is Ikai. Ikai, would you turn around? That's his podcast position. And today, he's wearing his dog cowboy scarf that he doesn't know he has on, but he likes it. Okay, I ran for governor of Hawaii in 2022, and I am on the Manoa Neighborhood Board. I recently resigned from the Manoa District 22 Democratic Council and the Democratic Party because of Israeli-Palestinian genocide. In 2024, I ran against Mazie Hirono for the United States Senate. Earlier, she said she wasn't going to run, and then she changed her mind. But I decided to run for her seat anyway because I thought maybe she'd resign, which would have been good for me if she'd resigned at the last minute. But that didn't happen. That was kind of threw the dice on that one. Didn't work out. Okay, both parties, not necessarily here, but both parties in general, Democrat and Republican parties, are corrupt, especially in the United States Congress, because of inside stock trading, because of taking corporate money, and also bribes from from Israel, AIPAC, and other lobbying groups. So I'm going to switch over to these lobbying groups. Now we have in the U.S. Congress, there is Mazie Hirono, a senator. There is Brian Schatz, a U.S. senator from Hawaii. There is Jill Tokudo, a Democratic House of Representatives person, and Ed Case, House of Representatives. Now, Mazie, Brian, and Jill all took money from J Street PAC. And J Street PAC supports candidates who are firmly committed to pro-Israel, pro-peace, pro-democracy policies. By standing together, we're showing that we are stronger than the handful of right-wing MAGA donors who fund anti-democratic candidates and who don't represent the values of the overwhelming majority of Jewish and pro-Israel voters. Your support through JPAC helps show where the vast majority of our community really stands. Okay, that's Mazie, Brian, and Jill. Now, Ed Case was the only U.S. congressperson who took money from AIPAC. AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, a pro-Israel lobbying group that advocates its policies to legislative and executive branches in the United States. It is one of several pro-lobbying organizations in the United States and has been called one of the most influential lobbying groups in the country. AIPAC critics have stated it acts as an agent of the Israeli government with a stranglehold on the United States Congress with its power and influence. AIPAC has been accused of being strongly allied with the Likud Party of Israel and the Republican Party. I don't know much about that party. I'll have to look it up. Okay, so that's AIPAC. AIPAC was founded in 1954 by Isaiah L. Keenan, a lobbyist for the Israeli government, partly to counter the negative international reactions to Israel's Kibaya massacre of Palestinian villagers that year. 1954, Israel has been murdering Palestinians since early 1900s. Israel has broken every contract, every agreement that they've had with Palestinians. So I'm not trying to defend Hamas or their actions, but I would say that most people know that Netanyahu did not react, did not protect his people, knew this was coming, knew that attack on October 7th was coming. He knew it. And even days before it happened, he had information from Egypt that it was about to happen. And then when it happened, where was the backup? It's a small country. They have military all over the place. Where were their helicopters? Where was it? They just allowed Hamas to come in and slaughter people. You don't need to kill people. We got to stop slaughtering people, killing people to make a point. But that's what we do now. Okay. Both parties are corrupt. Now I see, I'm reading again, the Democratic Party as weak-willed and lacking the courage to take a strong stand or position on anything, talking about here in Hawaii, except giving away the islands to mainland developers. Development is important, but look at up in Kapolei, there's like a 3,000 homes, 3,000 living units, most of them single family houses that are crammed together in these tight little developments with very small lots, narrow streets, no planning zones, just sidewalks. Some of the cars in there, you can't get the car off the sidewalk unless your garage door is open. You're sticking out on the sidewalk. And there's only a couple of ways out of each development area. So any emergency is going to be a disaster. You can't get out of there quickly, you're trapped. And the elevation there is about 10 to 50 feet. And you're really right next to the ocean. And you're in a tsunami zone. I didn't see any tsunami signs there, but out further, I've seen them. And they show a person climbing up a rock wall or something to escape a tsunami, but there ain't nothing to climb for 6 or 7 miles. The highest thing out there is the H1 that goes by Kapolei. So anyway, and then also driving back from the North Shore the other day, I did past the Kahuka exit there, and I see this beautiful soil, very rich soil, red soil, that's being turned up, and foundations are being poured. Food is freedom. Food is freedom. We import 80% of the food that we use here. Less than 0.5% of the state budget goes to agriculture. It's nuts. Okay. Paths of truth and justice. Within every person, nation, society, and group of people, there exists paths of truth. Here's a few of them. Ignoring facts is not justice. Liking something does not make it right. My friends say, oh, I like it like this here in Hawaii. That doesn't make it right. Time does not turn a wrong into a right. Look at Native Americans, they're still struggling with what we did to them. Hawaii is not America. Hawaii is not Hawaii. We're tethered to the United States. We follow their rules. We're 2,500 miles away. We can make our own rules. We don't need their oversight. Ignoring facts is not justice. Liking something does not make a right. Time does not turn a wrong into a right. Hawaii is not America. Hawaii is not Hawaii. It can't become what it needs to become as long as we're tethered to America. When we become the culture, we become the people. When we become the culture, we become the people. The land, Aina, is first. Native Hawaiians are second. Everybody else falls somewhere below that. That doesn't mean we have to have these separation of communities. We want a community, separations of cultures or separations of levels. Everybody needs to come together, but there's some rights that come with being the first people, and everybody else sort of has to get in line and follow along. Okay. Human beings achieve greatness only to the extent that they manifest high principles. You're going to have high principles. All human beings who have reached greatness, like Jesus and like Buddha and Lao Tzu and several other people. Yogananda, one of my favorite people, manifest high principles. I believe in peace, nonviolence, and righteous anger. I'm reading again. I'm Clyde McLean Mac Lumen, a former Democratic candidate for the United States Senate of Hawaii and a potential gubernatorial candidate or House Representative candidate in 2026. I haven't decided. I'm getting too old for this. I will fight for greater Native Hawaiian rights, including greater autonomy and sovereignty, which would encompass dual citizenship. I will also advocate for a unicameral legislature for Hawaii, similar to Nebraska, as well as the expansion of neighborhood boards, which are the grassroots of a democratic participatory governance. Democracy is governance from the people upward, not from the elected officials downward. The United States is not a democratic government. It is a representative government where the representatives represent their party first, themselves second, and the people somewhere after that, if at all. This is not how it was intended to be. Should I go on? A kingdom nation, an independent kingdom nation, Hawaii can control its own destiny. Hawaii desperately needs an immigration policy to prevent overcrowding, gentrification, and continual stress on the Hawaiian environment. All Hawaiian citizens will have dual citizenship with the United States. A monarchy can be inherited, elected, or appointed by native First people. Okay, this is kind of changing things up a bit, but the United States needs to purchase all privately held land for the monarchy or the state on a tax-assessed value, and the kingdom should lease it back in perpetuity to the original owners. The military will retain revised land use privileges. All military agricultural land will be used to produce food crops in agricultural communities when not in direct use by the military. A monarchy can act like a president, vetoing or approving, or as an observer, or as an advisor, as a dictator. I support a unicameral legislature like Nebraska where there is no House, only a Senate and senators. We don't, we even have these districts. And these districts, I mean, there might be some things like in a neighborhood, like neighborhood board. So our neighborhood is kind of established, but for a district, I don't know why we have districts anymore. I mean, it used to be there was no communication, so you had to have people represent districts, but now we don't need that. We just don't need districts. But we still have them, it's okay. It's not a big issue for me. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Thank you for watching. Hope you want to come back and watch some more and look at my website. And the last thing I want to say, let me scroll up here, is they came like lambs, speaking softly. Today all the islands are theirs, all the land, all the cattle, everything is theirs. They who had nothing now have everything. Next time I'm going to talk about my visit to Iolani Palace. Okay, mahalo. Thank you.